budget session. In India, there are 3 sessions in general, and budget session is the longest one. President's address, economic survey, budget presentation, discussion on the budget, scrutiny by the parliamentary committee, then voting on the grants, appropriation bill, finance bill. All these things are part of your budget. Budget and economic survey forms a very relevant and very important part of your preparation. But the question is that what kind of question they will be asking. To answer that, we have come up with this session over here. We will be going through some 20 questions in this particular session, and we'll try to see how UPSC can ask questions. Generally, you will be seeing that they will not focus much on facts and figures. They will be focusing on the trends. No doubt, there are facts which are important, like if they talk about the budget, if they are talking about the fiscal deficit, if we are talking about the inflation trends, these are important. But the thing is that they will mostly focus on the concepts and the trends. So in this particular session, we'll be going through some 20 questions which we think can be important. So you have to know. Okay. Otherwise, also when we are talking about the budget, we have discussed the highlights of the budget. If you have any kind of doubt in solving these questions, you can directly go and watch that video which is there in our YouTube channel. Okay. So let's start with the discussion over here. We'll be starting with the MCQs. The first question is, consider the following statement about Prime Minister Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana. Now, Prime Minister Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana was there for the low productivity districts. Okay, on the lines of the aspirational district program, they have come up with this Pradhan Mantri Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana. Now let's see the statements. They are asking you that there are 3 statements given. How many of them are correct? Okay, so see, program is to be launched in partnership with the states covering 100 districts with high productivity. Now this is contradictory, because if districts are already having high productivity, then why would you go for having a specific scheme for that? So this is incorrect. Coming to the second one, scheme aims to increase agricultural productivity, adopt crop diversification and sustainable agricultural practices, improve post-harvest storage after harvest at the panchayat and the block level. Now this is correct. We have already discussed about it. So I will not go into details of the scheme, but we have already discussed this. So I would suggest that you watch that particular video. Now herein we'll be looking at the questions only. There has been no separate allocation has been made for the Prime Minister Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana. Obviously, there is no separate allocation. There is already some money which has been given for the rural development and the agricultural development. Within that, there will be Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana. Okay, so statement 2 and 3 is correct. So option B would be your right answer over here. Okay, here you can see explanation is given. All those things which are important from this question's point of view has been given over here. So program will be launched in partnership with the states covering 100 districts with low productivity, moderate crop intensity and below average agriculture credit parameters. Okay, so that is there. It is to benefit 1.7 crore farmers. So statement 1 is correct. Scheme aims to increase the agricultural productivity, which we have already talked about. So statement 2 was also correct. No separate allocation has been made over here. Okay, so that is the question number 1. Answer is B. Coming to question number 2, which of the following statement is or are not correct about the mission for Atmanirbharta in pulses launched in budget 2025? Now they are saying that which statement is not correct over here. So let's see. The government of India has launched a 5 years mission for the Atmanirbharta in pulses. Now this is wrong because it is a 6 years mission. Okay, so that is why you can say statement A is incorrect. Option A would be your right answer. Other statements which are given over here are correct. So here you can say the 2025-26 union budget has allocated rupees 1000 crores towards this particular scheme. That is right. It aims to provide minimum support, that is MSP based on the MSP based procurement and the post harvest warehousing solutions in respect to the 3 pulses. 3 pulses are Tuar, Urad and Masoor. Okay, so these 3 are there for which there will be MSP based procurement. Other than that, post harvest support will also be there. Okay, NAFED and NCCF will be the procuring agencies which will work towards this particular object for next 4 years. Okay, so that is about question number 2. Answer is A. Here you can see Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has announced the launch of 6-year mission on Atmanirbharta in the field of pulses. Other than that, all the statements we have already covered in this particular discussion. Okay, coming to the question number 3. As per the Union Budget 2025, what is the largest source of revenue contributing to the rupee? That is income tax. Okay, so option A is your right answer, income tax. When we talk about the various source of revenue, here are given that is income tax, then we have GST, then we have corporation tax, we have borrowings and the liabilities. All these things are there. When we talk about the tax, here you can see the largest source of the contributing towards the rupee, that is here they have not talked about the borrowings. Okay, So that is why borrowing will not be your answer over here. And otherwise, if you see overall, then borrowings are the top one from which we are receiving money. Okay, so here you can see borrowings are there for 24%. Okay, after that there is this income tax, that is 22%. Okay, after that we have GST, that is 18%. Then we have corporation tax, that is 17%. Other than that, we have non-tax receipts which are there. Other than that, union excise duties will be there, and non-debt capital receipts and customs, that is 4%. Okay, what you have to remember here is that the maximum you can say source of income is for the government, that is basically your borrowings. Okay, or you can say rupee is coming from borrowings. The maximum amount of money is coming from the borrowings. After that, income tax, then GST, then corporate tax. Okay, so this is something which you should remember, which is given over here in the text form, so you can go through this. Now coming to the next one, that is which of the following statement is or are not correct. Okay, option A is Bihar is the largest producer of the makhana in India, accounting for estimated 90% of the production. Now that is the right statement, and that is one of the reason we are kind of establishing a makhana board, in Bihar, and that was also talked about in budget. The farming and the harvesting of the makhana is entirely done by the Mallaha community. Now they are saying that entirely done by Mallaha community, not entirely. You can say that mostly they are doing it, or you can say almost entirely it is done by the Mallaha community, but there are other communities which are also part of it. Okay, so option B is not correct over here. So you can say option B is your right answer. Other than that, it is a labor intensive industry, that is right. Union budget announced the establishment of the food processing institution and the makhana board in Bihar. Now there are two things they are talking about. First, a food processing institution, and second is makhana board, that is in Bihar. Okay, so option B is your right answer over here, because that is not entirely by the Mallaha community. There are other communities which are also involved, but the maximum production is under Mallaha community. Okay, so here you can see they are going to establish a makhana board in Bihar. Other than that, a food processing institution, we have already seen 90% of the production is coming from Bihar. And again, the farming and the harvesting of the makhana is almost entirely done by Mallaha community, but not fully. Okay, so that is about this. Next, question number 5. Which of the following sector will be targeted under the export promotion mission announced in Union Budget 2025 or 26? That is your financial year 26. Okay, that is manufacturing, deep tech startup, agriculture and allied activities, and option D, that is all of the above. Here all of the above are your answer, because when we are talking about the export promotions, all these sectors will be there. Okay, so that is option D, which is your right answer. Union budget announced export promotion mission with an outlay of 2250 crore to facilitate easy access to export credit, cross-border factoring support, and help MSMEs tackle non-tariff measures in the overseas market. Okay, this is also something which we have already discussed in the budget highlights. Okay, coming to the next one, question number 6. Consider the following statement about Bharat Trade Net. With the, you can say, this particular terminology, you would be knowing that what is this. Okay, coming to the next one, statements are: it is a digital public infrastructure, that is DPI, announced in budget 25-26. Okay, so that is there. Other than that, statement second is it will be unified platform for the trade and documentation and the financing solutions. Statement 3 is it will complement the unified logistics interface platform. You have to choose the statement which are correct. Okay, how many of the above statements are correct? If you look at the Bharat Trade Net, so that is the digital public infrastructure. Recently you must have seen that India is quite emphasizing on the DPIs, and we are also international front, on the international front also we are actually going for collaboration with other countries on the DPI front. Okay, so all the statements here are correct. So option C would be your right answer, that is all of the above. Okay, explanation is given. Bharat Trade Net, Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced that the government will set up digital public infrastructure, that is DPI, for trade documentation and the financing solution in the international trade. It will be a unified platform for trade documentation and the financing solution. It will complement the unified logistic interface platform. Okay, so that is for the, you can say, trade in the international market. Okay, coming to the next question, question number 7. Which of the following statement are not correct about Swami Fund 2.0 announced in budget 25-26? Okay, so they are talking about the Swami Fund. So let's see. It aims at helping the middle class families who are paying EMIs on the loan taken for the apartment and also paying rent for the current dwelling units. That means that when we talk about this particular issue, what has happened, that if there is a builder units which has been made or the under construction, they have actually pre-construction, they have sold the flat based on the plan. Okay, people has bought them, but the thing is, because of the lack of finance or other issues, the construction has stopped. Now these people who has taken the loan for the house, they are paying the loan EMI as well as the rent. Okay, so that is what has been resolved under the Swami Fund scheme. Okay, over here. So that statement 1 is correct. Coming to the second one, RBI or Reserve Bank of India manage the Swami Fund initiative in India. Now that is doubtful. We'll be waiting for that. Coming to the next one, blended finance facilities model with the contribution from the government, banks and the private investors has been adopted for the Swami Fund. Now this is also correct. Rupees 15,000 crore has been allocated for Swami Fund 2.0 in the Union Budget 25-26. Now this is also correct. So option B is your right answer. That is not RBI. Okay. Now again, in this particular fund, what they are doing is that they will be supporting such infrastructure projects where they will be helping to provide some kind of finance so that they can finish the construction. Okay. So here you can see there will be some 1 lakh units which will be additionally constructed, and 15,000 crore is the funding which is there. Okay. Swami Fund will be established as the blended finance facility with contribution from the government, banks and the private institutions. The first Swami Fund scheme is managed by 𝐸𝐴 Venture Limited and not from the RBI. Okay, so that is there. Coming to the next one, consider the following statement about Gyan Bharatam mission. It is a special mission for survey, documentation and the conservation of India's manuscript heritage. Second is it intends to cover more than 1 crore manuscripts. Coming to the third one, it will enable Bharat to preserve and protect the invaluable wisdom and the knowledge by these manuscripts found across the country. Okay, you have to choose the correct one. Okay, all the statements here are correct because they are talking about a scheme that is Gyan Bharatam mission, which is basically for the conservation and the preservation of the Indian manuscripts. They will be covering more than crore manuscripts which are found in India. So option C is your right answer. All of them are correct. All these aspects has been covered over here. Okay, so you can go through this. Okay, one more thing I would like to tell you over here is that the funding for this particular project is coming from the National Manuscript Mission. Okay, so that is there. So you can say that under NMM we have another mission, that is Gyan Bharatam mission. Okay. Coming to the next one, question number 9, regarding national mission on the high yielding seeds, which of the following statements are not correct? They are talking about the statement which is not correct over here. So let's see. This mission aims to improve research, development, develop seeds that resist pest and climate challenges and increase the availability of over 1,000 new seeds varieties. Now this statement itself is incorrect. Option A is the right answer. That is, it is not for the 1,000, it is for the 100. Okay, so 100 new seed varieties will be introduced. The goal is to make these seeds easily accessible to the farmers, encouraging them to adopt these varieties. The mission aims to enhance India's food security. This mission will strengthen research and development in the seed sector. So all these statements are true. This statement is false because they are talking about 1,000, but the real number is 100 seeds. Option A is your right answer. Same thing is given over here. You can go through this. Here you can say 100 new seeds varieties will be there, 23 varieties of cereals will be there, 11 pulses and 7 oil seeds among others it will be there. Okay. Now moving further, question number 10, consider the following statement about the Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0 launched in budget 2025-26. Statements are given, you have to choose the correct statements over here. The scheme has approved by the Government of India for the implementation during the 15th Finance Commission period 21-22 to 25-26. That is there. Coming to the second one, it will be implemented by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. This is also correct, and it is an integrated nutrition support program. So obviously it is there. When we talk about the Poshan and the Saksham Anganwadi, this is for the, you can say, betterment of the woman and the child. Okay, so that is there. So all the statements here are correct. Option C would be your right answer. It has been given over here. The explanation is given. Same statement has been repeated over here. So you can go through this. Question number 11. Which of the following statement is or are not correct about the India's nuclear energy mission? Option A, it aims to develop at least 1,000 gigawatts of the nuclear power capacity by 2047. Now again, there is a catch in the numbers. Whenever these questions are there, where numbers are there or the deadlines are there, if there are 2, 3, 4 deadlines or the numbers which are given in one statement, then you should be very cautious about it. Now it is not 1,000 gigawatts, it is 100 gigawatts. Okay, so again, statement 1 is your option A is your incorrect option. So that is the right answer. The mission is part of India's broader efforts to achieve the sustainable energy goals and reduce dependence on the fossil fuel. This is correct. To achieve this goal, amendments to the Atomic Energy Act and the Civil Liability for the Nuclear Damage Act is required. This is also true. The mission includes private sector involvement and the operationalization of the small modular reactor by 2033 to drive the nation's clean energy transition. No, this is also true. So option A is your right answer, because they are talking about 1000 gigawatts. It is actually 100 gigawatts. Okay. Coming to the next one, this you can read. Consider the following statement regarding the India's economic performance as per the Economic Survey 24-25. Now we are talking about some of the questions with respect to economic survey. Here you can see mostly a lot of facts has been discussed, but if they are talking about a trend, if they are talking about a concept, if we are talking about a particular term, that becomes highly important for you. Okay, so let's see the statements over here. Okay, so the real GDP growth for financial year 25 is estimated as 6.4%, close to the India's decadal average. Now this statement is correct. Okay, so they are saying that in the financial year 25 we are estimating that the GDP growth, that is real GDP growth, will be 6.4%. Okay, coming to the second statement, India's consumer price inflation, that is CPI, projected to be around 5.2% in financial year 26. Okay, so that is incorrect, because that is somewhere around 4% and not 5.2%. Okay, so this statement is incorrect. Now if you eliminate this particular statement, you will be seeing that there is only one option which you are left with, that is option C. Okay, so this is how you can eliminate. Now BSE stock market capitalization to GDP was higher than the both China and Brazil at the year end of the year of 24. Now the problem is, if you don't know this, okay, that is something which you might not actually go and keep a track of, because this is talking about the stock market capitalization, etc. So you might not remember this, but the thing is, if you eliminate this, because inflation, GDP, employment, unemployment, poverty, these are some of the factual data which you should remember. Okay, so in that case, if we are eliminating second one, you will be coming to the answer, that is 1 and 3. Okay, here you can see the real GDP growth for financial year 25 is estimated to be 6.4%. When we talk about the inflation, that is to hover around 4% in the financial year 26 and not 5.2%. And when we talk about this BSE stock market capitalization to GDP ratio, that was 136%. For China it is 65%, and for Brazil it is 37%. So that we have seen. Coming to the next one, consider the following statement regarding India's economic performance as per the Economic Survey 24-25. Statements are given. The unemployment rate for individual aged 15 years and above has steadily declined from 6% to 3.2%. Okay, so that is something. Coming to the next one, net employees provident fund organization subscription more than doubled from financial year 19 to 24. Coming to the third one, India accounts for 7th largest share in the global service sector. Now if you don't remember all these things, obviously you should go and see the highlights, etc. Now if we see all these three questions, you will be considering that all of them are correct. Option D would be your right answer. Let's see. As per year 23-24 annual periodic labor force survey says that the unemployment rate for individual aged 15 years and above has steadily declined from 6% to 3.2%. Now what you have to remember is that unemployment rate is 3.2%, which we have discussed in the graph in the key highlights. Okay, coming to the next one, India's formal sector has expanded significantly with net employees provident fund organization, that is EPFO, subscription rising from 61 lakh to 131 lakh, that is more than double. Okay, coming to the next one, India accounts for 7th largest share in the global services export, underscoring India's global competitiveness in the sector. Okay, so all the statements were true. Coming to the next one, 14th, what does the term financialization refers to in the Economic Survey 24-25? Now options are given. The increased dominance of the financial market in the shaping policy and the macroeconomic outcomes. Okay, that is one thing. Coming to the second one, the complete removal of the finance regulation in the economy. If you are going for the complete removal, that would not be a very good thing to do. So that might not be your answer. Okay, and second thing is, they are talking about the financialization and not unfinancialization or non-financialization. It is a positive term and not negative term, so they are talking about the removal. So that is why this statement will not be your answer. Coming to this third one, the reduction of the public and the private sector debt through the strict financial control. Okay, so they are talking about the financialization and not the financial control. Second thing is reduction of the public and the private sector debt. We are talking about increasing the debt, because right now when we talk about the economic survey, or when we talk about the budget, we are saying that the demand should be increased. Okay, So obviously, if that is the case, then there are high chances that survey will not be talking about something like that. Okay, the shift from market-based economy to state-controlled economy. Financialization is something which has to do with the finance and nothing to do with the ownership. Okay, so that is also not correct. Option A is your right answer, which is saying that the increasing dominance of the financial market in shaping the policy and the macroeconomic outcomes. What they are saying is that financialization means that financial market has a sway on the policy matters as well. Okay, so that is your answer, that is option A. Here you can say dominance of the financial markets in shaping the policy and the macroeconomic outcomes, a phenomena known as the financialization. It led to the unprecedented level of public and the private sector debt in advanced economies. Coming to the next one, question number 15. Along with the budget, finance minister also placed other document before the parliament, which includes the macroeconomic framework statement. The aforesaid document is presented because this is mandated by long-standing parliamentary convention, article 112 and article 110 clause 1 of the Constitution of India, then article 113 of the Constitution of India, or the provision of the FRBM Act, that is your Fiscal Responsibility and the Budget Management Act 2003. Option D is your right answer. Okay, along with the budget, there are three more documents which are presented, which we have discussed in the basics of the budget. Okay, wherein they have talked about that fiscal responsibility and the budget management, or the FRBM Act actually mandates that their three documents should be presented. Okay, so that is option D, which is your right answer. Okay, so here you can see the macroeconomic framework statement is a statement presented in the parliament at the time of the union budget, section 3 subclause 5 of the Fiscal Responsibility and the Budget Management Act 2003. That is something, the rule made under the contain assessment of the growth prospects of the economy with specific underlying assumptions. It contains the assessment of the assessment regarding the GDP growth and the fiscal balance of the central government. Okay, so that is about this. Coming to the 16th one, regarding trends in the India's trade performance, consider the following statement. Mercantile imports of India consistently increased in the last 5 years, and then mercantile export of the India consistently increased in the last 5 years. Now, both the statements are incorrect because there was no consistency. If you look at this particular graph, you will be saying that it is something like that, then decrease, then increase, then increase, then decrease, decrease. So there is no consistency. When we talk about the imports, increase, decrease, increase, increase, decrease. So there is no consistency. Coming to the next one. Regarding service sector in India, consider the following statement. India's share in global service exports more than doubled from 23 to 2000, when we talk about from 2005 to 23. Okay, that is something which has been reversed. Anyways, India's second largest exporter of the telecommunication computer information services in the world. Okay, they are asking about the statements which are correct over here. Okay, so both the statements are correct. India's share in the global services has doubled, and when we talk about India is the second largest exporter of the telecommunications and the services related to information. Okay, option C would be your right answer. The explanation is given over here. Here you can say the global services, if we talk about, so India's share in the exports has doubled more than twice. Okay, so that is there. And if we talk about the ranking in the telecommunication and the computer related services exports, that is ranking second largest exporter in the world. Okay. Question number 18, regarding agriculture and the allied activities sector in India, which of the following statement is or are not correct? They are talking about the one which is not correct. Okay, so let's see. The sector contributes approximately 16% of the country's GDP. That is correct. Coming to the second one, it supports about 46.1% of the population. This is also correct. India accounts for 11.6% of the world's total output. That is also correct. When we talk about the statement D, that is Madhya Pradesh was leading performer in CAGR of 8.8%. Now, when we talk about the agriculture CAGR and the allied sector, so that is not correct over here about Madhya Pradesh. Okay, so that is why option D would be a right answer, because they are asking about the not correct one. Now, if you look at these three statements, these are factual statements which you have to go through. Okay, so here Andhra Pradesh is the leading performer, so not Madhya Pradesh, but it is Andhra Pradesh. Coming to the 19th one, which of the following statement is or are correct about the LIFE initiative? Okay, it is designed to discourage sustainable practices, circular and the circular economy. So obviously they are talking about the LIFE initiative. It is something initiative which we should be progressive thing. Okay, so it is not to discourage the sustainable practices, but to encourage them. Coming to the second one, it will not play a transformative role in the development process. Obviously that is not that is also incorrect. It is a government movement to mobilize individuals to become pro-planet people. Okay, so that is something which you can consider. Coming to the next one, LIFE envision replacing the prevalent use and dispose economy governed by the mindless and the destructive consumption. So basically what they are saying is that this life initiative, that is to change the behavior. Okay, so considering that life envision replacing the prevalent use and dispose, whatever you are using it and disposing it. Okay, so that is to restrict, and now you can go for the circular economy, that you have to recycle it. Okay, option D is your right answer over here. Okay, now moving further, option D is the right answer. You can go through the life mission. When we are talking about the life mission, this is to target the individual behavior so that from the use and dispose we can move towards a circular economy. Circular economy, that means that we can go for the recycling. Okay, last question, consider the following statement: India's per capita carbon emissions are one third of the global average. Coming to the second one, India is the 7th most vulnerable country to the climate change. That is fine. Then MISTI initiative was introduced in the union budget for 2023-24 to aim to promote and conserve the mangroves. Now all the statements here are correct. Option C would be a right answer. This is something which has been written in a similar way over here. When we talk about the MISTI initiative, that is to mangrove initiative for the shoreline habitat and the tangible income. So basically that is to conserve mangroves. It is there. So option C would be a right answer. You can go through this slide.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.